everyone. Welcome back to our podcast, No More Secrets. As always, I'm your niece, Katie Albrecht.
And I'm your aunt, Mary Albrecht. And we are so excited to have a guest on our show that came to us just this past week. But we really hit it off, and we thought she had a great message to share. Mm-hmm. So I would like to introduce Dana Rexx to the listeners. Dana, go ahead and say hello.
Hi, everyone. Thank you for having me.
Thanks for coming on.
And she's in Belgium right now. That's pretty fancy. But we're doing a remote podcast, from Libertyville, Illinois to Belgium.
I know. It's kind of cool, right?
Yeah,
How the world is connected these days.
Well, Dana, you can go to DanaRexx, REXX.com. She is a singer, songwriter, performer, and podcast host. And she has a message to share about empowering women, which we thought, again, was right up our alley. She said that she rarely fit in as a child. She turned to music as a way to escape reality and the accusations of being different. And what's interesting, Dana, is that when I first saw you, you reminded me a lot of Lady Gaga, just in your style, but also your passion and your joy of living. But Lady Gaga was really beaten down as a kid. And then we read your bio, and it said you were influenced by Cher and Lady Gaga and others like that. And I'm like, spot on. That's awesome.
Good judge of character there, huh?
Good judge of character. But she was born in Belgium, but raised in Greece and surrounded by mythology and stories of gods and goddesses, which those are not real, right?
Depends on who you ask, honestly.
And because of that, she wants to channel the warrior spirit into her music and therefore empower other people to just be strong, be who you are, say it. Everything's okay. Just be true to yourself. Because tomorrow is the launch of International Women's Day. Is that right, Dana?
Yeah, tomorrow is International Women's Day, so I thought it would be a good date to launch my campaign.
Yeah, so she decided to take it bigger than just putting it out in a song and a video. She decided to actually raise awareness for domestic violence in the current era. It's still very, very prevalent on all levels. It verbal, emotional, it can be gaslighting, it does not need to be physical. Sometimes physical is easier to pinpoint. And it's only gotten worse since the virus because people are so isolated. And so I am going to turn it over to Katie, but she reached out to us because she's been listening to our podcast for quite a while. And then she and Katie corresponded all week. So why don't you go ahead and share with the listeners how this all came about in 3 days?
Well, we met on Instagram because Dana, you reached out and said that you liked our podcast, and I thought that was really cool. But then you were telling us a little bit more about this campaign, and I was just immediately like, oh, this sounds great. We need to do this, because I was like, we obviously talk about mental health and mental illness and stuff. So we thought you're bringing awareness for all the abuse and domestic violence and stuff, I think is really important. And honestly, I just would love to hear how you came about it, how you got this idea, and maybe you can share with the listeners a little bit more about it.
Yeah,
to start.
Thank you. Yes, I've been listening for a while, and I just thought it was very fitting to include you guys and to let you know that I was doing this, because obviously there's not only domestic violence between lovers, if I can say it that way. So a husband and wife relationship. There's also the children that are involved, or siblings, or So that was what I really realized when I listened to your podcast, that it's it can touch any member of the family. And that's also, one of the reasons that I think it's very important to just raise awareness about that it's not only about a man, beating up his girlfriend, so to speak. It can take a lot of different forms, and it can also be women who are doing the abuse. That was something that I wanted to share.
Sure.
And you mentioned, we had a little talk before going on the air, that you think you were, now that you were in an abusive relationship, but you really only realized it after you were out of it. Is that correct?
Yeah. So I was with my ex for a little over 10 years. And that's a while ago. That's, I don't know, 7 or 8 years ago now. And I only realized that, well, a couple of things happened for it to end. And then when I was out of that relationship, I just started realizing that, this wasn't normal. I hadn't been in a normal relationship that had just ended because of circumstances. It was a very manipulative and well, it was it was actually mental abuse that I was under. So you just you live your life, and I have a new boyfriend now, and he's amazing, and I just realized how great this new relationship was, and how mature a relationship could be, and equal. And I just started realizing all these things about where I was before. And I listened to a lot of podcasts, and then I came across some podcasts about mental health and abuse. And this woman in this episode was talking about what she had gone through, and she was just literally saying exactly what I had gone through. And then I realized that there was a term for it, and everything that that there's this whole new world for me to explore of overcoming this specific thing. And I had already written the song Love Syndrome, with which I'm kicking off the campaign, and yeah, I just thought this has to be bigger than just releasing a song. I have to do more with this. I have to create awareness about the different forms of abuse, because I was abused and I didn't even realize it at the time. And I just wanted people to know about this more.
And see, and there's that passion I was talking about, because it takes a lot of energy to do what you're doing. I mean, she's compiled a complete campaign with resources and fundraisers and, hotlines and all of that. And so we are more than happy to help you spread the awareness. But in our podcast, we also love people to share as much as they're comfortable with about their own personal story. And if you wouldn't mind just talking a little bit about like what you mean about the abuse in that previous relationship. Do you have some examples that might sort of reveal it?
Oh yeah, absolutely. That's also one of the hurdles that I had to get over to share this in public, because it's the first time now with this campaign that I'm actually saying to the people, okay, I'm a survivor of this myself. I hadn't really told anybody besides my new boyfriend that that it had been that bad. So yeah, it's a bit of a turning a negative thing that happened to me into a positive, and be able to help other people overcome their issues. So yeah,
it's so empowering to do that. That's what Katie and I are doing with her dad, my brother, a lifetime of abuse, and you just kind of feel sick about it. You talk about missing 10, 11 years of your life, and you feel kind of sick about it, but at least being able to do something to help others kind of negates that void of having lost all those years. And so we can totally relate to that. So yeah, but go on and explain your relationship a little bit more.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's very freeing as well to be able to talk about it, and just while talking, I guess you both of you as well, when you're talking about it, you just get these revelations that you say, oh yeah, and then it just helps it's kind of overcoming and healing from it, I guess.
Perfect. It's kind of the beauty of it, yeah, where you're like, you think that you're supposed to stay quiet about it because you think no one else will understand.
Yeah.
But then when you actually open up about all the issues, it's kind of like what you were saying, that with the podcast that you heard, you realize that other people are going through very similar, or, maybe not the exact same thing or whatever, but it's close, and it's like really gratifying. Like me and Mary, we had that with each other. We thought we had to be silent forever.
And now people like you are reaching out to us because they feel comfortable sharing. So it spreads the word of it's okay to talk about mental health problems, emotional problems, or issues, or abuse. It's okay. We talk about our knee being bad, our back hurting, maybe your soul hurts.
Oh yeah, totally.
Okay, that was a little dramatic.
No, I thought it was right on theme.
Okay, good. Anyway, go on, Dana. We keep interrupting.
No, I think I just want to say, because I was listening to your podcast as well, and I was thinking, if these women can talk about this kind of thing that happened in their whole family, why can't I talk about my, about what I went through? I think you're really brave to talk about all the different facets. No, seriously, all the different facets of this. I think it's amazing.
Thank you. Thank you. That really means a lot.
To go into how it kind of started. So I met this guy. I was very young, and I think I was just out of another relationship, but something meaningless. I don't know. I forget. And well, yeah, he was kind of cute, and you get together, and I was still in school. And then we both actually were DJs. So I used to be a club DJ, and he was a
cool.
DJ too. Thank you. So we kind of.
Is that how you started music? Is that how you started, like, your career in music was DJing, or no?
Yeah, that's that. Well, not really. The career started before that, because when I was 10 years old, I was on national television in Belgium, also singing and dancing and performing stuff. So yeah, I've kind of always been a performer and doing this. So yeah, it started very early on. But then it kind of, when I was in my late teens, it kind of turned into this thing of, oh my God, DJ, and
Sure.
So that's what I did. And we met because we were both playing at this club. And so, yeah, after a while you get together, and I thought he was really nice, and, we had the same interests because we were playing the same music, obviously, and we were both DJs. And also for a woman to do that is, it's very, it wasn't.
It's not as common.
Back then it wasn't common, yeah. So, and he said, he accepted that, and he thought that was very cool. And then we went on this trip together, actually in the first year already that we knew each other. We went to Italy, and, and it was really cool. And we had all these adventures together. So it was nice. And then, you just, after a while, we were still in school. So we obviously didn't, we were still living at our parents. And then, just as time progresses, when I see it back now, I can't really say when exactly it started, because it's just, it's like this mental thing that they just start up slowly, surely, just reeling you in. So I guess it starts with normal jealousy. Well, I don't think it's normal. Yes, jealousy shouldn't be normal in a relationship. If you love each other, you should be able to trust each other. Yeah. So that's when it starts. Like, who's texting you? Who are you on the phone with? And then
he would say that to you?
Yeah. And like checking my messages on my phone. I'm like, what are you doing on my phone? And I heard you talk to this person, and I want to know who it was, and all of that. So that kind of starts very slowly, and then it went on to, and this is one that I remember very vividly. Are you going to wear that to this party?
Oh boy.
Man. And
that's a big one.
Yeah, and I see myself as, well, I don't know if people are watching now, but if you see me, I'm very assertive and outgoing, and I have pink hair, and I actually have a warrior. Yeah, I have war paint on my face as we speak. So I kind of, I'm very outgoing, and I like creative stuff, and I just, I do all these things. And so I didn't really see myself as somebody who would listen to anybody else's opinion. And so he goes, are you wearing that? Of course I'm wearing this, because this is, I like this dress, or whatever I was wearing. I don't actually remember what I was wearing. I know that it was offending him in some way. I guess it was just like maybe a plunging neckline, and he was afraid that people would look at my boobs or something. I don't know. So we go to this party, and so I didn't change. And he,
good for you.
it just all went sour that day. So, he didn't talk to me the whole evening, and he kept like making sneers and just basically putting me down. And I'm like, hey, we're at this party with friends, and I mean, the idea of a party is having a great time, and I'm really not having a great time. And then it ends up in a fight between us, and he involves everybody, and it's just I feel like with my I feel like my clothing has disrupted everybody's night, and I kind of, it's bad for everybody. So, we go home, I'm crying, he's angry, and I guess that's like the first step into me thinking, okay, maybe I won't wear that next time, because I just, this is not worth it. Just wearing this top or this skirt is not worth.
It's not worth the
having
anger, the
such a bad
reaction
time
at all.
Exactly, and
Definitely.
So,
yeah.
So he was effective because you started to back down.
Exactly, and so
and doubt yourself.
Oh yeah.
Even.
Oh yeah.
Did he ever show any remorse? Or did it seem like he did, or pretend remorse at least?
Well, not
Or
about
was it-
telling me off about the clothing, but you get into this massive fight at home as well, and you start. It's so passionate. I mean, it's this fight is so dramatic, and you start. I start throwing his clothes on the street, and I'm like, no, and you have to leave, and I'm not like that, but. You just
those types of people bring it out of you.
Yeah, you just get into this very dramatic kind of relationship of love and hate, and then when you finally, you're at the brink of breaking. That's kind of when he, and he starts crying too, and he's like, oh, and I'm so sorry, and I shouldn't have, and and I'm this and I'm that, and it's like reeling you back in and just saying that he's sorry and that it's all his fault, and you're like, no, I'm sorry too, and from there,
okay,
we get this,
we totally understand.
So it's kind of I found out that this is called love bombing, so they kind of reel you back in.
We have that.
Yeah,
we have that term in one of our episodes.
Yeah,
love bombing.
So yeah, that's that thing of saying that he loves you and he'll never pick a fight like that again, and it's all his fault, and he
said he was sorry, so therefore I'm like, he's okay, like he's not that bad, right? Like that's kind of how they trick you into it.
Yeah.
So that night of the party, that first big thing, how many years into your relationship were you about?
I don't think this was very long. I 2 years maybe, or even less. I don't know. So it just starts very subtly,
slowly.
yeah, with stuff like that, and then it keeps escalating. So it keeps going further with the phone and the jealousy, and I just I mean, every time you go and do something alone, you're accused of cheating on him. Or every time you get a text message, also he accuses you of flirting with other guys. And you're so in love and you adore him, and you're like, you're starting to wonder why he thinks this. And what did I do to make him think that I would want to cheat on him? And what can I change to stop making him think that? Because every time we end up having a massive fight, everybody's crying. It's awful. It's not only between us, like in our room or whatever. It's also at the table with your parents, or at the table with his parents, or at a party, or with friends.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, or even on the street. It just keeps going. And actually, at one point, so. I'm thinking, what can I change to stop making him think
Instead
that?
of
And then there you go. That's the edge of the black hole.
There's the problem,
Yeah.
right? And he has succeeded.
He has succeeded. So every time you do something and he's not there to actually verify it himself, then it's something that's against him, like cheating on him or talking behind his back. And it just gets out of control, and it doesn't end. It's like a paranoia. And the more you deny it, the worse it gets, because obviously you didn't do anything. But so you say, no, I wasn't doing that. No, and you're lying and this and that. And it's just steeped in the fact that they're not trustworthy, and they project what they are doing, what they are actually doing. By the way, I found out a lot of things that happened with him and other women after I had left. So
that's usually the case. Yeah.
For me, it's basically just a projection of what they would or are doing, that they think you're doing that too. So if anybody's out there that's in a relationship like this, and anybody starts accusing you of this or that, or just be careful, because if it's not true, if you're not actually doing those things, which I suppose you're not, it's just a projection of themselves, and it's because they're actually doing that, and they're afraid that you are too. So,
oh my God, the classic Ken. That's my brother.
I also dated a guy like this too.
Can I ask you, Dana? Did you have outside family members, friends, coworkers, whatever, saying you need to get out of that relationship? That's not good. Like your mom or somebody, or did they all think
no,
that you'd work it out, or what?
No.
Nobody said anything?
Nobody said anything. And actually by the time, so I then I finished school and I got a job, and him too, because we were the same age. So we kind of started, we studied at the same time, and then we got the job at the same time kind of. And, and then it only got worse, because obviously I was at work without him. So, I was obviously, sleeping with all my colleagues.
Of course.
Obviously. And, it just got worse until I actually just only 1 year into that job, it got so bad that I said, okay, look, this guy is not good for me. I felt it. I just felt it. This guy is not good for me. I couldn't pinpoint what it was exactly, but I knew the relationship wasn't healthy, and I broke it off.
Whoa. Okay.
Wow.
Yeah.
And was it clean cut, or did he try to come back?
Well, this isn't the end of the story, sadly.
That's what I thought.
That's what I thought.
So I broke it off, and I was crying, and it was a bad breakup, and I was like, oh my God, because I was actually still in love with him, but I just knew something inside me told me that this wasn't the guy for me. And so, after a lot of crying and stuff at home, and weeks of just being very heartbroken, and him trying to talk with me. So he came to my parents' house, and tried to come in, and he wanted to talk to me, and he wanted to get me into his car so he could talk to me, and so it was this whole thing of, oh, should I talk to him now or not? And in the end, we kind of did talk, and I said no, so I start to we're apart at that point, but obviously I'm still DJing. So we still see each other at clubs where we both play. So I couldn't really get away from him completely, because our worlds were so entwined. And and I go on this holiday with my parents that the summer after to so I would, go somewhere and be somewhere else, and not have to deal with that, and kind of take a break from that as well. And I couldn't get over him. I was still so in love. And so by the time I got back from this vacation, I had started texting him again and saying, oh God, I'm so sorry I left, and because I couldn't. So we get back together, and actually I just realized this the other day. I just remembered this the other day, that something awful happened to me at that point. So I went to his parents' house, because we had just started working. So it was not like, oh, now we have money to get our own place or anything. Right. So we were just at the start of our career, and early 20s something. And right. I come back, and he kind of says, okay, you're back now, that's great, but I have conditions. And
what?
Yeah, so he made me come over to the house in a certain outfit that was very skimpy, let's say.
What?
Which made me very, very uncomfortable to, be at his parents' house. I had to ring the doorbell, and, he opened it, and he was like this, I don't know, he was reenacting this kind of fantasy or something. that he wanted to do.
Part of the conditions or what?
So yeah, the condition was that I would, kind of be his whore or something. I don't know what to make of it really, because I never asked him about it. I never really asked him about it.
You were still like infatuated with him and stuff.
Yeah. So, I thought actually when I got back together with him, I was so, I just couldn't get away from him. I was so in love. And I thought, you know what? If this is the guy for me, if this is the love of my life, then I am going to go all in. I need to make this work. And yeah, so he said, oh, I have conditions. So yeah, you have to wear this and that and then come to the door and then, and, so I did, and I thought, if this is all, then fine. But in hindsight, this was really not okay.
And it wasn't all. I bet. I'm sure there was more.
It just got worse, right?
Yeah.
As the years rolled on after that.
I think what people don't realize about these types of relationships is that, yeah, there's abuse happening, but they also can be so charming.
Oh yeah.
That you really do think that they're like just going through a hard time, or like you try to like justify it that because their charm is so strong.
Yeah.
And then it's like, why do people stay in these relationships? Well, it's not like they are just always mad and always angry and stuff. They're putting on the charm to keep you there.
Yeah.
And then, toy with you and mess with you just like enough, and then like do a little bit of a complimentary just to like pull you back pretty much.
Absolutely.
And, like, they're really good at it.
They're really good at it.
They're really good at it.
Crazy.
It's born right in. They don't even have to work at it. It's just part of their DNA from the start.
Right.
They can manipulate, control.
Yeah, everything you're saying.
Get you to change, yeah.
Because he was a nice guy. He was a good-looking guy. He was tall and, sporty, and he played football. I mean, soccer. Our football.
Football.
Not American football, but yeah.
The one you actually play
real
with
football.
the feet.
Yeah, you guys got us there, I think.
I never realized that. Football.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It should be with the feet.
Well, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, well, us Americans mess it all up. I know.
Ball or something. Well, it's rugby, basically.
It's rugby, but different.
Yes.
Yeah. No, that's funny.
So yeah, it was nice to be on his arm and out, and then everybody was like, "Oh, you guys are the perfect couple, and you look so great, and this and that." But I was miserable at home, basically. And then so we got back together, and we'd been working for a while, and then after a year after that, I think that's when we bought an apartment together, and we moved in, and it just kept getting worse and worse, and the texting thing still, and the verbal abuse. So he would just basically call me names. Call me names, and I don't know. It was just always something. Also, he wouldn't do anything around the house. So like he used to put his stuff in the sink instead of like just putting it in the washing machine, because we actually had a washing machine. So it's not that hard. You open it, you put your stuff in, and you close it. Okay. And so
pretty common sense.
Yeah. It's it's like the same distance, and
it's like you're in close proximity, like here to here, so
it's right there. And
it's funny how they call it a washing machine. Is that what you call it?
A dishwasher.
Yeah. We call it a dishwasher.
It's a dishwasher.
But anyway.
Oh, I thought you meant laundry. Okay, yeah, because we call
that
washing
too.
machine as the laundry.
Yes.
Wash.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
It's in Flemish. It's the same. It's nearly the same as well. It's just washing machine. I meant dishwasher.
I like it. I like
I like to hear the differences. Yeah.
In culture.
Yeah.
Somewhere along the way, you decided to marry him, though. Is that right?
Wow.
You thought maybe?
Why
did
you
think
do
that
that?
would fix? Did you think that might fix it once and for all, or what was that reasoning? Did he talk you into it?
I don't know. I guess that was it was something that was happening all around us. All our friends were like getting engaged and married and having children, and I was still on the fence about children, because I'm not a children person. So I'm also an only.
I'm not a children person.
Yeah.
Just how you said that was funny. I'm not a children person.
I was a child, but I'm not a children person.
Exactly.
There's a difference.
Yeah, exactly. So I don't have any siblings. I'm an only child, so I'd never really taken care of another
You're independent.
child.
Yeah.
And so also me moving around a lot when I was little made me feel independent and very on my own. And I also never kind of, when I was 16 and I did like these summer jobs or stuff or internships or whatever, I never, I always did something in like a company. I never went babysitting or anything like that.
Right.
That scared the hell out of me. So I didn't do that.
Understandably.
So
I'm with you.
It's a whole nother breed, those chillins. Yeah.
yeah, so I
so
just didn't do that. Yeah.
So I think we should probably wrap it up pretty soon, but how did you ultimately get away?
Well, actually, it's the marriage that saved me. It's the wedding that saved me.
Interesting.
Yeah, stuff started happening at the hen do and the stag do. What's that called in America? The
bachelorette
bachelor.
party.
That's it.
Yeah.
Bachelor and bachelorette parties.
Yeah.
Hen do. Yeah,
Hen do
I've read
and-
hen do in books before, so that's
Yeah.
Hen do.
You guys actually say that. That's so cool.
Yeah, they say that in the UK. And I went to a British embassy school, so I know that my accent is very Americanized right now, but that's because my accent was, I only learned to speak English when I was 3. So it's a bit, whoever comes along, I kind of grab onto that accent. So it's a bit weird for me.
Oh, interesting.
So yeah.
So the marriage saved you. Explain that.
Yeah, I organized it myself because I've always been in events and stuff at work as well. So I organized the whole thing myself, and I said, okay, look, I need you to be there for me on the day. I told him, and then also, please don't get drunk. And and this is the scenario. So this is the thing that we're going to follow. And so at that time, you need to be there because new people are coming, and we need to shake hands and welcome everybody and stuff. So anyway, then the day happens, and by the way, also a couple of weeks before the wedding, so he comes to me and he says he has money problems. And we kind of talk about it. And so all of a sudden this comes up and I'm like, what? And we talk about it, and he's like, I don't know, $2,000 or 2,000 euro it was at the time. So that's more, $2,500. I don't know how much that is. The equivalent in debt. And I'm like, okay, it's not like 100,000. We can work this out. We can do this together. We'll work this out.
We're
so
a team. Yeah.
We found a plan, this and that. And so, yeah, okay, great. Thank you. Yeah, we'll do this. We'll do this. That's great. So, cause I'm much better at finances than him, and he worked at a bank. So that's weird, but
that's a red flag in itself.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh my God, how could I have been so stupid? Anyway, he leaves to his parents that same evening to I don't know what, and he comes back and he's like, oh, all the stuff we talked about, yeah, we're not going to do that. I'm going to do this instead because that's what my dad said. And I'm like, whoa, wait, you're not with your dad, you're with me. So I thought, we're getting married.
Right,
and
you're the
everything.
partner.
Yeah, I thought we could.
Yeah, you guys are the ones that are supposed to be the team, not
The
your
team,
parents anymore.
exactly.
Yeah.
Because, this doesn't have any repercussions on your dad. This has repercussions on me. So, yeah, but that wasn't important because his dad had a better idea. So that happened. And then the wedding, and obviously he did get drunk, and I couldn't find him the whole time. And by the way, at every party we went, even if it was for work, so to DJ, I could never find him. He was always, I don't know where, talking to I don't know who. And I kept finding that when I was anywhere with him, I was always looking for him. Where is he now? Oh God, I need him, And I'm like there in my dress, like, oh my God, where is he? And he was out on the patio getting drunk with his pals.
Wow.
his own wedding, which
Right.
Wow.
I can understand that you would want to have a great party that night and everything, but I mean, it's our wedding, so can we like do that, get drunk together maybe? I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Oh
you
my
asked him
gosh.
beforehand to not get
Exactly.
drunk.
So I have to
Like you had a clear ask that he went against.
Exactly. And I dragged him to where he needed to be. And then, and it just escalates from there because at that point in time, I'm very pissed off at him. And it just gets worse and gets worse. And by the time everybody leaves and the evening is over, I was so angry. And yeah. And then after that, we went on a honeymoon, which was a total disaster as well. So yeah, it just...
And
things
then
just
you finally
escalated and
divorced him after a year. Is
after
that right?
a year.
About?
Yeah, I just
And he
fell out of
did
love.
he let you go? Did he let you go though when you finally
He tried
left
not
this
to.
time?
He tried not to.
Okay. Okay.
So we went. We got married in September, and then the year after, by September it was just completely awful. And we even went so far as we went into the holidays in December, just being very distant. And but it was a holiday, so you have all the family gatherings and stuff. So we just kind of put on this there's nothing face and just went through it. But we knew every time we looked at each other, there was like this smoldering kind of problem and hate between us. So we were very aware that things weren't. He also was very aware that things weren't okay. And then so we do the 31st of December with friends, whatever. And the 1st of January, I get up and I just go to him and I say, look, we need to talk. And I want a divorce. And he's like, no, and we can talk about it. I'm like, no, we've talked about this a million times. You're not changing. We never end up doing what we said we would do to solve our issues. And I'm just sick of it. And I won out.
Ooh.
And you know what's interesting?
I love that.
This is the ant thing where I always say, okay, let's back up, because you fell out of love. Whereas the first time you broke up with him, you were still so in love. So in a way, you were addicted to that love, and you hadn't had enough of the addiction. You know how they say you're not ready to give up your addiction until you've had enough bad?
Yeah.
So finally you had enough after the marriage, after the wedding, where you fell out of love, and it made it easier to leave.
Yeah,
because you didn't love him anymore,
A couple of things just happened after that as well. So we were married for a couple of months, and he was Sicilian. So maybe, I don't know, that might have something to do with it. But so, he always went to Sicily in the summer to be with family there and friends there. And so we had already gone to Sicily. Well, I had been there for 8 times already, but I didn't work at a bank, and he had like 46 vacation days or something, like a ridiculous amount of vacation days.
Style,
and I only had like 26 or 28. So I really wanted to see the world. Yes, only.
We're worse here.
Me with my 10 days of vacation. That's another story.
topic.
Yeah.
So yeah, I couldn't go with him, or if I went on a holiday with him, I wanted to see the world. I didn't want to go to the same place like for the rest of my life. I mean, when you've seen it, you've seen it. It's great there, but can we please just go to somewhere else now? And I actually asked him, I think it was in March, when he was talking about booking his tickets again to obviously go there again for like 2 whole months, where he would be. Where I only would join for 2 weeks. I actually asked him literally, please, this year, please don't go. We're married. It's our first year. Please don't go to Sicily. Don't leave me alone. And he just booked a flight and he went. And that's when my love just went away, and I was finally free.
I was gonna say, doesn't that feel great when you have like an aha moment where you're like, I don't need this. I am better than this. I finally feel strong enough to leave this toxic relationship. Like, doesn't that feel great?
That felt amazing, because it was just the proof that he didn't care about me at all. At all.
And he might as well just have hauled off and hit you because it's the same thing.
Yeah.
Meaning, sometimes the physical abuse is easier to pinpoint earlier, but basically he was always slapping you down and pushing you aside and throwing you away. And, that's what he was doing.
Do you know that I actually, sometimes when we were in these huge rows, I would literally on purpose push him also, push him to see just so he would hit me. So it would
have
be
a reason.
Easier. Yeah.
So it would
you would have a reason.
Concrete. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I felt that with.
He never did.
I felt that with my dad because he abused my mom. He abused Mary, obviously. But I was like, I feel like what he's doing, I don't have enough. I don't have enough to like tell people to like this to show how serious it is. So there would be times where I'd be like, I wish he would have, so that I could actually use that as like a physical evidence.
Yeah.
Like have a black eye and be like, look,
no, this is serious. But because he did it with his words to us, to give him some credit, he never hit us directly.
Credit. Okay, whatever.
That's as far as it goes.
You're not supposed to hit your kids.
Exactly. No, that's what I'm saying. That's as far as it goes. Okay, but that's.
I know what you mean.
I understand that where you almost want it to be worse so that you can like tell people about like, no, it was terrible.
Yeah, because you haven't. Then you have the excuse. Then it's like, then society accepts you leaving, but because he's such a charming guy on the outside, nobody kind of. And are you sure? Are you sure that he's doing these things? Because he seems like such a nice guy. Are you sure you're not being paranoid? That it's not just in your head, and people kind of say that to you, and it kind of, it's saying to me exactly what he's saying to me, that it's me and it's in my head and I'm the crazy one. So you can't really, you try to, you think that yourself. In the end, that it's you and that you're the manipulative one, manipulating him all the time, because that's what he tells you, like, oh, you're so manipulative and you always do this just to spite me. And, so you're the one, and you don't really see it that way. And it would just have been so much easier if he would have hit me, because then I would say, okay, this is it, bye. Yeah.
Right.
That's so sad that you have to say that.
Yeah.
Well, and this is why
terrible.
Your campaign is really important, because what you're trying to do, and I know you have another call in a few minutes, so kind of want to just get back to this. You're trying to tell people it's not okay just because the guy doesn't hit you.
Yeah.
Just because he doesn't throw you down the stairs or whatever
doesn't make it any less abuse.
Sometimes it's worse because you can't prove it, and you doubt yourself. And it sounds to me like this relationship was a huge catalyst for you wanting, besides your song, Love Syndrome.
Yes.
Is that what you called it? After that, just saying, wait a minute, no, it needs to be bigger than this, because it's going on all the time between bosses and their employees, between family members, like you said, not just lovers. It happens a lot. And it happened with Joe, with a female, and it can go both ways, and it's okay to talk about it. And the more you talk about it, the more people start looking at their lives and saying, wait a minute,
Yeah.
And so it sounds to me that your campaign was born from this relationship.
Absolutely.
Is that correct?
That's correct.
Yay.
Yeah.
Wow. So is there anything that you want to say real quick about the campaign itself? We already planned to have her back on before the 4-week
you are
campaign
so fun
is
to
over.
talk to, and I love that you're so open with your story and everything.
Yeah,
really,
and so
it's really interesting.
We can touch base, like if let's say we have you on in a couple of weeks, so we can see how the campaign is going. We're obviously going to link all of your information, your song, your press release, and then all of your links that have hotlines for people that need to talk this through, therapists. And you said you're talking about some fundraisers and things like that. So, we're happy to spread the word more than just today. We can do it ongoing, going forward even, because it's our message. That's what we're doing here, and that's what you are doing there. So let's come together.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. Yeah. People can go to my socials. It's Dana Rexx, so DanaRexx on all the socials like Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. I'm everywhere.
Yeah,
it's convenient.
Twitch, what have you, YouTube. So they can go there to find all the resources. So indeed, there will be helplines. I have helplines for 46 countries in Europe. I have helplines for the US.
I know, I can't believe it.
That people can call, from their own country if they feel that they have questions. Also, people who are not victims per se, but who might know somebody and have more questions about it, they can call these helplines too. I'm doing fundraisers on my Twitch channel 2 or 3 times a week until the end of March still. So people can join, the chat. I will be having guests. I will be doing games, a quiz, just entertainment so people can donate. And I'll be, sending that money over to the European Women's Lobby, who is actually an umbrella corporation who funds a lot of different European associations that help women who have been a victim of domestic violence or, do active things for female rights, women's rights.
Okay.
So stuff like that. Yeah.
Very, very neat.
Wonderful. Yeah.
I'm going to end with your quote. Inside each of us, there is a powerful force caged by culture, tradition, and outdated teachings that suppress our best qualities and cripple our true creativity. Fight for your right to be yourself, always. I love that. I love that. So we're not even going to have to say goodbye. We can just say so long because we'll see you soon.
Yes,
definitely.
Thank you so much.
I appreciate you coming on. This has been really, really good to talk to you, and officially, not just on Instagram or email, So
yeah,
it's been a really good time.
My pleasure. Thank you so much.
And just know that you'll be back in a couple weeks, okay?
Great.
Let's
keep
stay in
reminding you.
touch.
Okay. Thanks a lot.
Thanks,
you.
Dana.
Bye.
Thank you all for listening.
Thank you. Till next time, everybody.
Hey guys, thanks for checking out this week's episode of No More Secrets. If you liked what you saw, subscribe below.
And be sure to check out our website, thealbrechtauthors.com, where you can also purchase a copy of our book, Broken Neck. You better f***ing do it.